Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Triple Threat Comics YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ian Miller, and we're welcoming back a very great guest of mine. She's been on the show before. Please welcome Nicole Kane. Nicole, welcome back.
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me back. This is
Uh,
really nice. It's been a while since we caught up.
yes, it is. Folks, if you don't remember this, Nicole actually came on the show a while back promoting her series Fox and the Hound. Now she's
Yep.
back talking about her new series, Your Highness, graphic novel volume 1.
Yeah. Speaking of Fox and Hound, I don't know when I was on here, which volume we were up to, but that actually has finished now for the first arc. We finished
Wow.
it. Yeah, we just finished issue 6, so the whole first arc is 100% done, and then we'll be moving into the second little sort of story of the girls, probably the next year or the year after.
Okay.
So yeah, good times with the girls. People have absolutely loved them, and that has made me very very happy over the years. So very excited. But we are here to talk about the new one.
Yes.
We were just talking about this before the show, and Ian was asking me, what was it about, and all that sort of stuff. And I said I'd have to wait for the show to explain everything to you.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. So, Your Highness. I've had the book out for a little bit.
Mhm.
It's sold out of its first run here in Australia, which has been fantastic.
Yeah.
We need to do a second print run probably in the next few weeks, which is great. But it is a dark fairy tale sort of twisted story. Now, my background is actually European,
Mhm.
so I took this story from my childhood. I actually have the original sitting right here on my shelf. Now, this is where the original story comes from.
Yeah.
It's a clearly a child's book. It's one of these gold ones. Like, I don't know if you guys have these overseas, but we
Yeah.
have
We
this
do.
gold series here in Australia. It's very, very popular. My mum actually read this to me as a kid, and the story always stuck with me. The art is absolutely phenomenal. It's only about 4 pages long, so the art is quite spectacular for its time,
Wow.
and it's quite beautiful. So it always sort of stuck with me. But it's one of those stories with a moral. The Aesop's sort of fables with the underlying story to the story. And this one was don't lie, basically, to put
Yeah.
it succinctly. Um, but my mum actually found the book in her garage a couple of years ago when she was cleaning out. And I was there at the time, and she said, "Oh, I'm just going to donate this." And I said, "Don't you dare, that's coming home with me." And she was very confused for a moment, but getting that time to sort of grab it and reread it and look at the artwork and sort of study it again, I thought, I love this idea and this concept, but I hate when stories have that happily ever after. And I
Uh,
know that you have to do that for kids' stories, right? But what if there wasn't a happily ever after? Like, what happens after this? So I took the original story and I've pushed it beyond where that story ends. So now we're going into after this moment. And this moment, this story particularly ends with the princess being snatched up by a handsome prince and they ride off into the sunset.
yeah.
That doesn't happen. So in the original story, you have two sisters who are princesses who are both, you know, they've both got gifts. Well, one's got a curse, one's got a gift.
Yeah.
And I've basically switched that in the book. So the gift is actually the curse, and the curse is the gift. So one of the sisters speaks diamonds and pearls and flowers, and it's beautiful. But people use her as a cash cow instead.
Oh.
So they force her to speak so that they can get the jewels. And the other one, who spits out snakes and toads, is actually using that as a fear tactic to control her army.
Ooh.
So yeah, so I've completely sort of made this into its own little world. I've built a kingdom around this because there's not really a mention of a kingdom in the book, unfortunately. So
Mhm.
I've sort of played with the characters, made them my own. They really didn't have names or anything in the original story, so I gave them a personality. I gave them, like, there's a whole religion in this story. There's multiple kingdoms. There's multiple people within the family and things like that. So I've really expanded what the original story was. But for those people who don't know the original story, which is actually called Diamonds and Toads, I've actually put the original story in there as well.
Oh,
So yeah, you can actually, it's two massive splash pages where it's in like a silhouette. So you can actually read the original story, but the silhouette pictures are showing you what happened to both the girls instead. So
ooh.
yeah, it was a lot of thinking for this particular story. Um, a lot of world building, a lot of character development. I wanted to give all of my attention to this, and I really wanted to do it justice because it was something I had loved from my childhood. So yeah, the story is amazing. The artwork is fantastic. My artist really took it and absolutely ran with it. He created these amazing characters. He was like, really passionate about their outfits and their costumes. We've just gone absolutely nuts for the costumes. So I think one of the characters, the bad princess, her name's Iskra. She has we're going to put it in the second book. She's got an entire trunk of just crowns. That's how many crowns she wears. Like, she doesn't wear the same crown twice at an event. So she's great. She's great. But we've really made sure to keep it to that sort of European vibe as well. Like, we did a lot of research into historical European royalty and things like that, but giving it that fantasy element where, she rides this gigantic sort of moose deer demonic thing. So yeah, we've really gone out with this one. I absolutely love the book. It is a passion project, this one, and I'm super proud that we've managed to create it, to get the first volume out, and now I'm going to be working on the second one in the next few months, which is going to be fantastic because we sort of want to get one out every year until it's finished, and it's going to be three. So the
Okay.
story is going to be three massive graphic novels. So yeah,
Yeah. So, how many pages are in this first volume?
96.
96.
Yes. Yes.
Impressive. Impressive.
Plus some bonus art in there. My artist has actually done some, like, they look like playing cards. So you know how you've got the traditional playing cards where the queen and the queen, the king
Yeah.
and the king. We've got the same sort of vibe. So we've done all the characters in that sort of vibe, and that's, breaking up each chapter of the book as well. So it's quite beautifully done. We thought about formatting quite a lot. We thought about the cover. The cover's in this ridiculous print. So, we've really made sure to do the book justice so that it's got that longevity as well. We didn't want to give out like a semi made product and then have it get, you know, progressively better. We wanted it to be at the top standard every single book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll be continuing on with that, which is fantastic. And I've just absolutely loved it. I think I've read the book like a few times myself already. Um, I just keep going back to it every couple of weeks, and I love it. Like, even though it's my own work, I absolutely love it. And I didn't think that it would come out so good. Like, when you see the script and you just see it on a computer, it's just words in a big block, and you're like, eh. When you see it all come together in that book, and then you're, at a convention pitching it to people, and they can see how passionate you are about it. And then when you open the pages and you start explaining it, and they're like, I love this as much as you do, which is just beautiful. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's the best feeling in the world. But what's great about this is that you just said that you're rereading your own work, and that's typically something that writers don't like to do. They don't like to read their own work, but when it's good, that's when you struck something. It's not just a passion project for you; it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's a couple of them that I'm just like, that could have been better, but definitely this one would have to be like my top favorite. Like when I go to a convention and that people see all the books on the table and they go, "Oh, which one's your favorite?" I immediately just point to that and I'm like, "This is my favorite." Like, and then I start with the spiel and start telling them about it, and then like, "Okay, okay, okay, we like this too. We like this too." Um so it's nice. It's nice to look back on the work and be proud of it and really enjoy what you've made.
Yeah,
I know some people look back on their work years later in and they're like, "Oh, why did I write that?" I'm I don't think that's ever going to happen with this series. I think I'm always going to be like, "Oh, I got the chance to do that." Like that was epic. So, and then that sets the bar for me in the future. Like if I love doing this, I want to keep with that sort of level of work right up until the end, whenever this ends. Which I'm hoping it won't. I'm
exactly,
hoping to be writing for a while.
exactly. Well, that's what I'm hoping too. Yeah, because again, I like seeing people that I know, people that I've met through the channel succeeding, and that's always the goal. Is making sure you guys succeed.
Yeah, that's it. And it's like when you see people coming back time and time again and they've got more work and it's increasingly getting better over the years, you're like, you know what? They're making it. They're doing it. Like, that's awesome. Especially in the Australian community. The Australian community is very, very small. So it's a big win for all of us when we see each other succeed,
Yeah,
which is fantastic. And it's like, oh, this person's brought out this new book, or you see them working on it for months on end, and you're like I've seen them progress through, start to finish, and then you see the actual book, and you're like, go, you did so well on that. So yeah, it's been fantastic. The community here is, like I said, it's quite small, but it's amazing. Like it's just so friendly and open, and everyone wants to chat. Everybody wants to have a good time, and I think it's what makes the conventions even better now.
yeah. Now you've mostly stuck to conventions that are in Australia, right?
Yes, at the moment, I'm trying to actually get around to a lot more ones in Australia. I was mostly just Sydney based for a very long time,
Mm,
but I'm sort of branching out. Oh wow, it just got really dark in here.
right.
The clouds came over. The clouds came over. But eventually, probably after 2026, I'm hoping to do overseas conventions. I know it takes a lot of time and prep and everything to sort of get to that, so I'm giving myself the space to actually get overseas and be able to either bring the stuff or just go over and talk and make connections and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I've also got a wedding to plan in between all this. So I'm like, okay, that comes first. That comes first. Then I can get overseas. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's gonna be a busy couple of years. Um, Coming into things, but that just makes me more excited to do more work.
Yeah.
Like, I think every time I get a slump or I think, oh, maybe I should stop and whatnot, I just go back to things I've done, or I just jump online and talk to the guys in the Australian community, and it just reinvigorates you, refreshes everything. And you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to sit down and smash this script out.
Yeah, I have the same experience when I'm stuck on something. I just talked to some of my comic friends, and the guy's like, what, you gotta do this. You gotta do this. Otherwise, you're never gonna be satisfied.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it. So, and I think that that's the best part about it. I actually really like the community. Coming from my background is, for people who don't know, my background was cosplaying, and as much as the cosplay community has completely changed since then, back when I was doing it, it was very, very toxic, and I didn't particularly like being in it. So,
Yeah.
you know, coming into such a friendly, loving community and accepting community. It's just been fantastic.
Well, it's good. You know.
Yeah. Oh, it's been fantastic. So
Yeah. Now you said there were a lot of design work on the costumes of this particular series. Would we,
yes.
by any chance, at some point see cosplayers?
Oh, okay. So yes, you will.
Ah.
I have a friend of mine who's a very big cosplayer here in Australia.
Mhm.
Um, what name on Instagram? And she'll be very happy plugging her probably. Um, but yes, we are talking about possibly doing Iskra's outfit, which is probably one of the most complicated ones.
Mhm.
But um, I think that that's going to be the most spectacular. And we're trying to decide whether we want to do her sort of traveling outfit or if we're going to be doing the royal outfit.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's I think it's going to come down to movability. I really think it's going to come down to movability because yeah, Kalina cosplay is my friend. She is on. I don't know if you can see my phone. Probably not. But
Probably not.
nah. But yeah, she's a fantastic cosplayer here in Australia. She's been my friend for a couple of years now, and we've been talking about doing it ever since she saw the book. It will be a lot of work. It will be a lot of progress, but I think that we will eventually probably get that up and running. I'll probably be helping her with a couple of the parts to it as well,
Mhm.
designing and whatnot. Like I said, I used to do it, so I probably will be involved in it some way. I also just want the crown for myself, not to lie. I really just want to have Iskra's crown for myself. So if I have an excuse to make it, I would love to have it sitting on the table, like as a prop piece. So
Yeah, that's great. What I've also noticed, a lot of times when I go to conventions, that a lot of the creators do have specific prop pieces from their own series. So it's always
mm,
great to see that. So I think that will definitely get people curious about your book.
yeah, and I've seen a couple of my friends have their books cosplayed as well, and it's just that really happy feeling to go, oh, somebody's loved this. I have had a few people who want to cosplay Fox and Hound, but I think you have to do it in a less scandalous way.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, yeah, the ladies were quite scantily clad.
Yeah. So I think that'll be interesting when people start doing that, making that one, which would be fantastic. Again, if anybody does cosplay anything of my stuff, I'm just going to feature the crap out of it. So yeah, it would be eventually a really nice step to have that happen. But there's going to be so many more works in the it'll I'll be interested to see what people sort of drift towards and want to be doing, especially since my works are all costume heavy.
Mm,
um I think that that's always a good opportunity for people to go, hey, I really like that, I really want to make that.
yeah.
So yeah, but yes, definitely that'll be happening. Don't know when, but as soon as it does, I'm going to be posting the crap out of it when it happens.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, the link down below for the Kickstarter is here, but let's take a look at the pre-launch website and Kickstarter right now.
Yep.
Obviously, this is just the basics here.
Yep. Yep. So with the new format with Kickstarter, it's been great. We can actually add a little bit more instead of just a title picture and like two lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been able to sort of show off a little bit of the work. That's what the book actually looks like. So that's the
Wow.
the front cover. I was talking about the card sort of thing, where one of them's on top, one of them's on bottom, and sort of like a little teaser picture at the bottom, just showing you what artwork is in there. But as you can see, it's very pretty. It's very dark. It's not your typical thing, but it does keep to that fantasy element as well, which is fantastic. We have so many things to give away. We have prints, we have limited edition like book to go with it. We have original art as well by the artist. So yeah, there's going to be heaps and heaps of stuff that's coming into this. We are looking at launching in October,
Hmm.
so it'll be probably another 2 weeks before the launch happens, and then we'll be up and running with this one. But I'm really hoping that people enjoy this as much as I've enjoyed making it. And again, with the Kickstarter, we'll be showing a lot more of the artwork from inside the book. There's like little bonuses and extras and things like that. But definitely the book is the star of the show with this.
Yeah, you could just tell even from the snippet of artwork we're seeing here, and the cover is just looks fantastic. I love the whole idea of using the playing card, showing the two different sides. So that was
Yeah,
very clever.
yeah. My artist came up with that sort of like when we were doodling cover ideas, and think he gave me like 4 ideas. I said, "That's the one. That's the one," where they sort of just blend into each other and the snakes come down and then the diamonds and roses come up. I said, it's just amazing. And it does catch a lot of people's eye when they see it on the table. A lot of people just dive for it and just are like, What is that?"
Yeah,
So, you know,
yeah. What's interesting is from what you're describing, and also just the look of it, it has that Game of Thrones type of vibe, as well as something that I watched recently called Twilight of the Gods.
that's the Zack Snyder one, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is.
Yes, it's I'm dying to watch that. I've literally just caught up on Vox Machina
Oh,
recently
you
on
have to
Prime.
watch it. I think you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah. That's definitely on my list to watch because it's supposed to be absolutely spectacular. So I'm dying to watch that. But very much so, very much so. It has that fantasy element. The first issue is a little bit more sort of grounded, a little bit more human based. There is a witch in there as well, which Baba is absolutely fantastic and so evil.
Mhm.
But once we start going into the second volume, you're starting to get a lot more of the bizarre creatures that inhabit the world that they live in. So yeah, first issue sort of setting everything up politically. It's showing you the background of the girls. It's showing you their history, um, what influences and factors are sort of impacting both of them and the restrictions in their abilities as well.
Mhm.
Second one challenges them. It really challenges both their, mental and physical strength. It challenges their faith. It challenges their concept of their world. And because, they're princesses, they were sheltered most of their lives.
Yeah.
So this shows them that there are powers in their world that are far beyond what's happening to them, which is fantastic. And then that'll push them into the third one where everything just goes to hell in a handbasket, as I say. Um, yeah, when I sent the sort of rough plot to my artists, and I said, ignore issue 2. There's nothing really in issue 2, but read issue 3. And he's just like, what did you do? What did you do? And I'm like, I told you I was gonna ruin them. Um, so yeah, like I said, I'm really excited about this one. If you can't tell,
Yeah,
it
I
is
can
an
clearly
absolute
tell.
passion project of mine. So I'm really hoping that people enjoy it as much as I have.
Well, considering you're that passionate, I only know you very little, but I can already tell you're very passionate about the project. So that's fantastic. And yeah, I think when people see that excitement, they'll get excited about it. And just by looking at this, I'm really going to be honest with you. I could easily see this as an animated series. I
Yeah, well,
don't say that. I don't say that lightly. I really don't.
I'm really hoping that, maybe once I've finished the 3 graphic novels, that it will get picked up by somebody and they'll be like, you know what, this is really cool. Like, probably pitch it out to some publishers. But yeah, it would be nice if it sort of became a bit of a big series. But like I was saying before, the show, it is going to be a staple of mine. It's going to be always in my collection. I'll
Yeah.
always have it available from now until day dot. And it will always be one of those ones that when people look at the table and go, okay, what's your favorite? It's just that one. That's my favorite, you know? Um, just because it is something that came from my past, and it's got sort of me ingrained into it as a creator and as a writer.
I'm extremely happy for you. I really am.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the journey has been interesting as a creator and a writer, so I'm glad that we're getting to the point where things are sort of now becoming a little bit more streamlined. I think the whole COVID fiasco is done, thank God.
Yeah.
And I think things are starting to settle back into a more normal pace. And I think it's going to be more of a regular thing, especially from myself and the brand NS Kane Comics. We're definitely going to be pumping out things at a more regular pace. So great. So if anybody likes the stuff, be prepared. There's going to be a lot more coming.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no stopping you now.
No, 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 no. The train has left the station and it's going to be going. So yeah, very, very excited. Like I was saying before the show, we've got the next 2 years pretty much planned out. So hoping to get some series finished in the next 2 years. I've got some new, just one shot graphic novels coming, which is great. I think a lot of people ask at the conventions as well, is this a one shot or is this a continued series? And I feel like people, especially people who aren't really collectors of comics, they like the one shots because they can read the whole story and then that's it. It's done. They don't have to keep trying to find the rest of it. So yeah, I've got a few more of those coming, which is going to be fantastic, and definitely more big series as well on in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I feel sorry for my artist. Although he likes to keep busy, So, but he's just like Jesus Christ. Like you are way ahead of everything, and I'm like, yep, yep, yep.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's probably moments where your artist gets to the scripts and he's like, "Oh my god, how am I supposed to do this? What's she
Yeah,
doing? She's
and
nuts."
and I challenge him too with every book. I challenge him. So one of the next ones, I've challenged him, and he doesn't know this yet, but I've challenged him with angles, and I said you have to really think about and the different ways that you can sort of like enhance the characters.
Mm,
So I'm I like to sort of give those challenges and really push my artists.
yeah.
I think that it only makes them stronger and it only makes the books stronger. Like if you compare sort of like Fox and Hound 3, which is what Chris sort of started on, um, to Your Highness, it's you can just look visually at where he's gone and the detail and the structure and the way he's thinking about the work. Like it's just incredible to see the progression physically there on the page. And it's only gotten better. Like I compared issue 3 of Fox and Hound to issue 6 when I was at the last convention, and I even stopped and looked at it and went, "Holy crap! This is like you wouldn't believe it's the same artist." You look at it and you'll be like, "Wow! Like that's huge leaps and bounds." And I feel very privileged to be a part of that as well. As a creator, it's amazing to see people succeed in their work as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially on someone who had worked on your books and he's doing other things, and when you see just how they progress, it's always rewarding to see that, saying, "Wow, I was a moment in this person's development."
Yeah, yeah, and it when years go by and you know uh, who knows what's going to happen in years go by, but you'll come back and you'll be like, wow, this is where we started. This is where everything came. And you can have that sort of nostalgic moment of like, this is what kicked off everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel very privileged to be doing this. It's taken me a very long time to get to this point. Well, in a sense, it's taken what I think is a very long time. But when I say to people that I've been doing this for 7 years, they're like, "Oh my God, you're a baby! You've only been doing this for 7 years. What's wrong with you?" So it's interesting to hear that from people. I think it's been a long time, but yeah, it's been an absolute ride so far, and I'm still learning new things. Like, recently learned how to do animated GIFs. I learned how to format. I learned how to pretty much, build a graphic novel. That was something that I'd never done before. So, it's really cool to be able to sort of do more than just write. You kind of have to put every hat on. I made a new shirt for the convention, which tells people, because a lot of people ask me at the convention, what do you do? And I constantly say, oh, I'm the writer. And then I stuffed it. I was like, I'll make a shirt. And I actually listed everything on the back of the shirt that I do. And so I just turn around and they're like, oh, wow, okay, you do a lot. And I'm like, yeah. But
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. I
yeah,
love
a friend of mine actually gave it to me when I was down in Melbourne. He's like, you should just list everything that you do. And I was just like, I'm making a shirt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really fun. I've been wearing that the last few conventions and people are getting a real kick out of it, and it's been great. So, and I don't really want to stop anytime soon. Like I said, I've got the next 2 years planned out. So I'm very excited to keep going in this particular field and keep creating these stories, because at the end of the day, I get to bring these characters to life. And I think that's the most rewarding aspect of being able to do this. Like, especially if you love the characters so much. I've got some stories that I know will sit there for a couple of years, but when I do them, it's going to be like, oh, I finally get to bring this character out. Like, I finally get to explain their story. So,
Absolutely. But no, this is fantastic. Your Highness graphic novel, Volume 1, going to be launching on Kickstarter very soon, so keep your eyes out for it. I see you've had 58 followers.
yes, we've got 58 followers so far. Um, Again, that's just the pre-launch link.
Yes,
That's
yes.
great. I'll probably get more when it does launch. A lot of my usual have been on Kickstarter for a while. They'll probably get the email from me going, "Hey guys." But yeah, it's been great that so many people have already jumped on and they want to be notified of the launch. And I think people are going to be really stunned when they see just what this work is. And I'm just so excited to be able to show it. Like, I really wish I could launch it now, but
You gotta be patient. You gotta be patient.
I gotta be patient. I gotta be patient. So, but like I said, the book's been out in Australia for a while now. It got a very good reception at most of the conventions. People have absolutely loved it. I actually sold out of every single copy, including my display one. Um, yeah,
Wow.
I had a couple come by very late in the last convention, and they heard the story, they heard my spiel, and they were like, "We need to have this." And I said, "Well, I don't have anything left by the display," and they're like, "We'll take it." So it's really wonderful to be able to have people so keen to pick it up. So I'm really hoping that this translates to overseas, and that people really like it just as much as it's been welcomed here. So
I think it will. I think it will.
I'm hoping so. I'm really hoping so. Like I said, just really awesome story, really epic art. Like, we've gone ham on how we make the characters move and the grandiose of the entire world that they're in. Like, it's like you said, it's got that sort of Game of Thrones Lannister vibe to it as well.
Yeah.
You know, um, except I think Iskra is a walking Iron Throne, as you can clearly see in the picture. She's just spiky because originally the armor was very it was very typical like classic Russian armor, and I said no, she has to be like evil, and I actually used the word spiky. I said she has to be spiky. And that's when my artist came up with that, and I was just like, yeah, that's spiky, that'll do it. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I can already imagine the action figure coming out. Yeah, just looking like that.
yeah, literally would be awesome to have some sort of figures of the girls, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping to do a bit more costuming with the other sister, Anya. I'm really hoping to play with her costumes in the next one. She didn't get a lot in this one because she is in hiding. So, but the next one she should be back in sort of the royal outfits. So, it's
Yeah.
like I said, it's just gonna be so much fun to keep designing and keep making these costumes and characters. Um, but yeah, that's this particular series which is going on at the moment versus how many other books have I got on the moment? There's so many books going on at the moment. But like I said, I love it. I love it. I wish I had more time to work on it. Unfortunately, day job takes preference because you know have to make money to live.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's every waking moment that I have spare, I'm usually tinkering with something. Um, I was actually at the convention in the morning on the Sunday, and I was sitting next to a friend of mine, and he's like, I'm drinking my coffee, and he's like, "Oh, how's it going? How's it going?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I've answered 3 emails this morning." And he's just like, "What? What?" It's just, yeah, it's constant work, constant tinkering with it, but I get so much joy out of doing that, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. I'm even finding myself, as I'm doing my fourth issue right now, I'm looking at past my first issue. I'm like, okay, when I do the graphic novel version of this, I have to redraw some of these pages.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just one of those things.
I'm finding that with Fox and Hound because with that being completely done, it will go into a graphic novel of the first arc,
Mhm.
just so that I have more room on my table because I've run out of room. So this is just a space saving thing. Um, but we will probably be redoing a few things, tweaking a few things. There's going to be a whole heap of extra art in it, so it's going to be a little bit chunkier than I anticipated. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. It's just giving the fans more to oogle at.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially what the pages used to look like compared to what they look like now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's going to be cool because you'll see that progression from the beginning to the end of the story and how the art completely changes
Yeah,
throughout the whole thing. It's almost like the art is growing with the girls, if that makes sense.
it does. It does.
So yeah, very very excited to put that into a graphic novel. Probably the end of this year, I'll probably work on that. Um, I'm pretty much just pushing everything into the 3 weeks that I have off over Christmas because I'm like, I don't have time for anything else right now. But yeah, I feel like my family's like, can you make time for us in between all this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, sure. I'll squeeze you in. I'll squeeze you in. So,
Well,
but
you got to make sure that family is always the top priority.
yeah, well, I did a small convention at the beginning of this year. It was just a little like local thing at a library, which actually turned out to be an amazing day at what we call Ashfield Library here,
Yeah.
and it's actually quite close to my sister's house. And I told my sister about the event, and she was actually really excited, and she drove over in the pouring rain with my little 1-year-old niece, and actually came and saw everything for the first time. And it was the first time any of my family had actually seen any of my work. And
What?
Yeah. It was really really nice, and she was like super proud. And then my aunt came as well. She drove over because she didn't live far away, and she picked up some stuff, and she was like, "This is so cool, and it's amazing that you're doing this." And I was just like, "Been doing this for 7 years, guys, but sure." But it was really nice. It was nice. My niece was really really cute, and she was running around like a crazy person. But it was nice to see the support, and it was nice that they are like, yeah, this is actually really cool now. And I think it's gotten to that point where it is a legitimate actual thing. Back in the day when I first started, it was sort of just me fumbling through it. But now there's a brand, there's the consistency, there's the titles, there's a schedule of work. So I think it's sort of starting to take on its own life now and be a little bit more recognized as what it is, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like I said, folks, just keep an eye out for Your Highness graphic novel volume one, and hope that she actually gets started on Fox and the Hound, the graphic novel, sometime down the line.
Yeah.
Again, it's gonna be a while before she does that because Nicole has a lot of projects in the pipeline.
Well, that'll be next year. That'll be next year. The graphic novel for that'll be launched next year. Um, like I said, I've pretty much got most of that done. I just need a solid week to sit down and actually do the work, where I'm not being tempted by a lot of things like the games that I've not played in very very long time. I have a pile up of games that I really need to sit down and play as well. Um,
Yeah, I'm the same way myself, but I just have no time. I have
yeah,
no time.
Yeah, no time. Like sometimes I come in from work and my partner's just like, "Oh, do you want to play something? Do you want to do something?" And I'm just like, "No, I literally want to lie on the couch and be brainless and do nothing for 5 minutes."
Yeah,
Um, which is yeah, I think that's the issue of having a full-time day job and then doing this full-time as well. It's a lot of work, but my work is actually quite lenient with the chaos that is the comics, and a lot of them are quite supportive as well. They're like, "What are you doing? Are you going to a convention?" So it's been really nice that people are interested in that side as well, because a lot of people don't know about it. And when you walk into an office with purple hair, they're just like, "Okay, you're different. What's your story?"
uh,
So yeah, it's great. It's great, and like I said, they're quite accepting of it, and they like hearing of all the new stuff that I'm doing. And I'm like, I have to go pick up this delivery. I have to go post this, and they're like, "Oh, you're doing the comics?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing the comics." So,
absolutely. Before we go, folks, first of all, yeah, Nicole, I want to thank you again for coming on.
oh, it's been a pleasure. I will hopefully come on for more stuff in the future.
You're gonna come back. You're definitely gonna
Oh
come back.
yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna come back. We're gonna be doing more crazy stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, if I go down to Australia, to promote my own comics, I hope I run into you.
Dude, if you come down here, I'll be the first one hosting you.
Well, thank you very
That's all
much.
right.
Okay, like I said before we go, this is the link to my own comic, indieplanet.com, for my series Codename Hunter. We do have a website, folks. You saw a little bit, in the mix, in the works. It's still being worked on, but don't worry. You guys know when it's going to launch, which will be hopefully very soon. So this is issue one of Codename Hunter. You can find it at indieplanet.com, like I said, only for $4.50, very reasonable. Also has the digital download. And this is some of the first few pages. It's a sci-fi spy thriller that's set in the future. Think of it as James Bond meets Star Trek meets Star Wars meets Guardians of the Galaxy, and wrap that all into one, and you get Codename Hunter. Yeah, so that's the first issue. Issue 2 is also available as well. Again, these are some of the test pages. As you can see, the artwork has gotten better, as I've done with each issue. So when I go back to do the graphic novel version, I gotta redraw most of issue 1. Shh, it's a secret. And this is issue 3. And this was done. This cover was done by myself and a friend of mine, Enrique Lopez, who did the inks. Yeah, I'm currently working on issue 4 right now, but don't worry, you're gonna hear some news about it. I'm almost done with it, thank God. Because you have no idea, folks. Doing my own series, also being a freelancer, it's a lot. It's a lot. So there is that, and of course, as always, let me just show you my other uh, stuff. So this is my other line, Lil Ian on tpublic.com. It's Lil Ian merch, so you can find me in there. This one is called Lil Ian Surviving Halloween Trick or Treaters. I told you we don't have any candy this Halloween. Protect your candy. And you can find us on T-shirts, pillows, cell phone cases, wall art, and of course, ball caps. And you can find also Conan Hunter and Triple Threat Comics also on tpublic.com. Just type in Lil Ian merch, and there you have it. Well, I think that's going to be it for us tonight. And in this morning, because again, it's morning in Australia.
Yes, it's morning over here, people.
Well, I'm Ian Miller, and this has been Triple Threat Comics YouTube channel. Have yourself a good night, folks, or a good morning.